Hi, I'm Suzanne and my business is the Digital Optimist, and I am here to talk about something that I came up with recently called the SEO spectrum. This came from me working with a whole bunch of different clients and also seeing a whole bunch of different types of websites online, all with varying levels of complexity, needs, information, and visibility. And so I thought, you know what, wouldn't it be fun if I designed some kind of SEO spectrum so that people could identify where they are on the spectrum and then have a little bit of clarity as to what sort of help they need. And maybe you will find yourself on this spectrum somewhere. So level one is very low visibility. If somebody Googles your business, you're not showing up online. You might have a Facebook page and that's how you do business, but essentially you're not showing up anywhere in Google. People aren't finding your business and you don't have a Google business profile. You've never really seen the value. Maybe you created the website 10 years ago, maybe longer. Maybe you've updated it a little bit, but maybe you haven't. So everything looks dated. You haven't given it any care, any thought, any attention, and you've just started to notice that your business is decreasing. These businesses have done really well with word of mouth. They get referrals. Maybe they're really good at in-person marketing, and so they get business that way. They just simply haven't needed their website. And if this is you, then great, good for you. Level two. Level two on the spectrum is what I like to call the legacy website. So people with a legacy website, they might occasionally update photos. They at one time knew that keywords were a thing and they've put titles and that sort of thing. They're aware of the need to have like an online presence, but they still don't have a Google business profile. And if they do have one, they haven't updated it or responded to any reviews. Sometimes these people are in their 50s or 60s. They are retiring soon, but not yet. And they're not sure how much energy to put into the website. Level three. So level three is just a little bit further towards the optimized end of the spectrum. It's the middle ground. So the website may have been updated within 3 to 5 years. The person has a Google business profile, but they haven't optimized the Google business profile. They have been getting business, but things aren't bad, but they have been hearing more and more about SEO. Now they're interested in AI and concerned about the effect that AI is going to have. Some of these people might also have done some of this work themselves, or are even questioning whether any of this work needs to be done at all. They only need a medium level of support. They're also teachable and have some technical skills. Level four is somebody who has done quite a bit of work. They are engaged in their website, but they're just kind of busy. They need some tweaks and they don't really know what to do, because at this point in our evolution of websites and technology, you kind of do need to study what's going on in tech and SEO and generative search engines like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and all of the new AI features. So the people in level four are perfectly capable and perfectly technical. They could figure it out, but they just don't want to. They're too busy running their business, but they've noticed that business has slowed a little bit. Maybe their competitors are pulling ahead. Maybe it's a competitive industry, and they've just reached the point where, you know what, I don't want to deal with it. I want to hire the professional. Maybe they're a solopreneur and they just want more business, but they're not trying to scale, or they're not supporting a whole team of staff that they need to get business for. And so that's the solution for those people, which is great. And that brings us to level five. Level five is basically they know what's going on. They know about AEO, SEO, GEO. They actually know what all of it is. They are on the cutting edge of technology, but they, again, this is not their specialty. Clients on level five are reasonably up to date, but they don't want to invest in the tools that you need to monitor websites. They have larger websites with multiple pages. They are in more competitive industries, and most of the time they're supporting a team. So if you are a business and you've decided to pivot and you want to transition from one type of service offering into another type of service offering, but you want to do it without losing your traffic, without affecting your business or your SEO, then that's where I come in, and we make sure that you make all of those transitions in a smooth, seamless way. I'm going to say another thing about level 5 businesses. And that is that in addition to being aware of their website, they have a broader awareness of their brand online, and they have a more cohesive brand. So I'm talking about Google Business Profile. They care about reviews. They have review requests built into their systems. They have a LinkedIn profile. They've got maybe a Facebook page, but they have a consistent online brand. Maybe they do regular posting, and they are interested in growing their business, and they have a competitive industry. So to them, it is worth it to pay for ongoing SEO and website support so that they don't need to worry about it, and they can do what they're good at and keep optimizing and tweaking as time goes by. So I'm going to leave it there for the spectrum. As you can see, each type of business has its own set of unique circumstances, but I thought it was really interesting how I can see on the spectrum, like from high support to low support, there's a lot of variables that are involved in how much SEO you need or they need. I guess that is my summary of the SEO spectrum. I hope you found some of this helpful in terms of identifying where you are on the spectrum. None of these spots on the spectrum are bad. They're just different starting points, and everybody has different goals as well. Once you know where you are on the spectrum, it's easier to make a decision about what support you need and where you want to go with your business. I'd love to know in the comments if you see yourself somewhere on this spectrum. Thank you very much for listening. Stay optimistic, and I will see you in the next video. I'm adding in a section here for level 3, the beautiful but confusing creative. So photographers, graphic designers, interior designers, they've created beautiful websites that don't make any sense, or they're not optimized for search. So what happens is, if you're a photographer or a graphic designer, those are the top 2 that I work with in this category. You know, you might go to an event, you meet people, you send people to your website, you get business. But if you ever look at the data, you'll notice that you're not getting much organic traffic or leads or bookings. This is because of multiple pages with the same subject. This is very common. It's very important to not just look at how your website looks, but dig under the surface a little bit to see what the mechanics are like. Another thing that I find happens with visual professionals is they haven't been educated on how to optimize images and portfolio items. So it's very common to see huge photos and videos in some cases uploaded. They haven't been keyworded, they haven't added alt text, and they are just slowing down the website. But hey, they look good. So if you're tired of looking good but not getting enough business, you could be in level 3. Okay, that's it.